the silent neighbor. The space station K-17 was old, quiet, and mostly forgotten. Most people came here only when they had no other choice. At the far end of the station lived a human named Evan. Evan was a mechanic. He fixed broken ships, damaged engines, and cracked metal walls. He spoke very little. He asked no questions. He took payment and returned to his small workshop. People barely noticed him, and Evan liked it that way. Every morning, he walked the same metal hallway. Every night, he returned to the same door. Room 47B. But there was one door he never looked at. Room 47A. That room belonged to his neighbor. Everyone knew who lived there. A dragon. Not a story, not a myth. A real dragon. Huge, ancient, dangerous. The station leaders said the dragon was a special guest. But everyone knew the truth. It was being watched, feared, avoided. No one walked near that door. No one spoke its name. Except Evan. He never stared, never asked questions, never complained about the low heat coming from the dragon's room. He simply lived next to it, like it was normal. One night, Evan was working late. A cargo ship had crashed into Dock 7, and the engine was badly damaged. Sparks filled the air. Tools clanged against metal. Then, boom, the entire station shook. Lights flickered. A deep sound echoed through the hallway. Evan froze. That sound did not come from a ship. It came from next door. He turned off his tools and stepped into the hallway. The air felt hot. Too hot. A dark line ran across the floor. Melted metal. It led to room 47A. Evan's heart beat faster. Another sound followed. Not a roar. A breath. Slow. Heavy. Painful. Evan stood still for a long moment. Then he walked forward. The door to room 47A was half open. Inside, the lights were broken. Smoke filled the room. And on the floor lay the dragon. It was massive. Its wings were folded tight, torn and burned. Golden scales were cracked. Blood, bright and glowing, spread across the floor. Dragon blood. It burned through steel like acid. The dragon's chest moved slowly. It was alive. Barely. Evan's hands trembled. Everyone knew what this meant. If a dragon was injured, the dragon guard would arrive. If a human was found near it, they would be blamed. Executed. Evan heard sirens in the distance. Security alarms. Someone had noticed. He had seconds. Evan took one step back. He could close his door. Pretend he saw nothing. Walk away. No one would blame him. The dragon opened one eye. Large. Golden. Sharp. It looked straight at Evan. Not with anger. With fear. Evan stopped breathing. Dragons did not fear humans. That was what the galaxy believed. The dragon tried to move. It failed. Its claws scraped the floor, leaving a deep mark. The dragon let out a low sound. Not a roar. A warning. Or maybe a request. Footsteps echoed down the hallway. Soldiers. Evan made a choice. He turned around and closed his own door. Then he locked it. He stood in the dark of his workshop for 1 second. Then he opened the door again. Evan grabbed a heavy chain from the wall. He moved fast. Faster than anyone expected from a quiet mechanic. He wrapped the chain around the dragon's broken wing and pulled. The dragon growled. Evan did not stop. Stay, he said. His voice was calm. Simple. The dragon froze. Evan dragged the massive creature inch by inch into his workshop. Metal screamed. The floor cracked. The heat burned his arms. Then the dragon was inside. Evan slammed the door shut. Locked it. The sirens grew louder. Security voices echoed nearby. Evan leaned against the door, breathing hard. Behind him, the dragon watched. This human should be dead. But he wasn't. Evan turned slowly. Golden blood dripped from the dragon's wound. Evan looked at it. Then, at his tools. I fix broken things, he said quietly. The dragon's eye narrowed. Outside, soldiers stopped at the door. Open up, a voice shouted. Evan did not answer. He picked up his tools and walked toward the wounded dragon. The choice no human was allowed to make. The door shook again. Open the door, a soldier shouted. Evan did not move. Behind him, the dragon's breathing was slow and uneven. Every breath sounded like it might be the last. Red emergency lights flashed through the small workshop. Shadows of soldiers moved under the door. Evan looked at the dragon. Up close, it was even more terrifying. Its scales were cracked like broken armor. One wing was twisted at the wrong angle. The wound on its side glowed bright gold. Dragon blood was still burning through the floor. Evan swallowed. He was just a mechanic. No armor, no weapon, no power, only tools. The dragon lifted its head slightly. Its eye followed Evan's every move. If it wanted, it could kill him in 1 second. But it didn't. Evan slowly walked to the control panel on the wall. With shaking fingers, he shut down the workshop's external scanners. Outside, the soldiers cursed. "What's going on?" one of them said. Scans just went dark. The dragon released a low sound. Not anger. Pain. Evan grabbed a thick metal sheet and placed it under the wound. The metal started melting instantly. "Yeah, that won't work," Evan muttered. He turned toward his tools. Laser cutters. Repair clamps. Nano-welders. Tools meant for ships. Never for living creatures. Never for dragons. Evan paused. Helping a dragon was not just illegal. It was forbidden across the galaxy. Humans and dragons were not allies. They were barely allowed to exist near each other. Evan remembered the warnings. Dragons destroy worlds. Dragons do not care. Dragons never repay kindness. Evan looked at the dragon's eye again. There was no rage there. Only exhaustion. Only fear. Evan exhaled slowly. "I don't know what you are," he said quietly. "But you're bleeding. That means you can die." The dragon blinked. Slowly, Evan activated the nano-welder. A soft blue light filled the room. The dragon tensed. Its claws dug into the floor. Evan raised one hand. "Stay still," he said. His voice did not shake. The dragon hesitated. Then it relaxed. Just a little. Evan began working. Every second was dangerous. Dragon skin was harder than starship hulls. The heat nearly burned his hands. The tools screamed under pressure. Sweat ran down Evan's face. Outside, the soldiers grew impatient. "Break the door," someone ordered. Evan heard the charge being placed. 3 seconds. 2. The dragon suddenly moved. Its tail slammed into the wall. Evan was thrown to the floor. The dragon lifted its head fully now. Its wings tried to spread. Pain exploded through the room. The dragon roared. Not in anger. In warning. The sound shook the entire station. Metal walls bent. Lights shattered. The soldiers outside fell back in fear. Evan pushed himself up. "Stop," he shouted. The dragon froze. It looked at him. Really looked at him. No human had ever shouted at a dragon like that. Evan stepped closer. "You move, they kill you," Evan said. "You fight, they kill both of us." The dragon's breathing slowed. Outside, silence fell. No one moved. Evan returned to the wound. As he cut deeper, he saw something strange. The wound was not clean. It was torn from the inside. Evan frowned. "This wasn't done by humans," he said. The dragon's eye narrowed. Slowly, painfully, the dragon spoke. Its voice was deep, broken. Betrayal. Evan froze. "You can talk," he whispered. "Few humans hear it," the dragon replied. Evan felt a chill. "Who did this to you?" Evan asked. The dragon closed its eye. "Our own." Evan did not understand fully. But one thing was clear. This dragon was not an attacker. It was a survivor. Suddenly, Evan's control panel flashed red. Emergency transmission sent. Evan's blood ran cold. The station had sent a signal. To the Dragon Council. And to the Galactic Authority. Help was coming. Not rescue. Execution. Evan looked at the dragon. "They're coming," he said. The dragon nodded slowly. "I know." Evan felt something twist in his chest. He had saved ships before. Saved stations. Saved lives. But this was different. He was standing between the galaxy and a dragon it wanted dead. Evan straightened his back. He wiped blood from his hands. Then he did something no human had ever done. He stepped in front of the dragon. "If they want you," Evan said, voice firm, "they go through me first." The dragon stared at him, then lowered its head. In respect. Outside, the sound of approaching warships echoed through space. When the galaxy came knocking, the space around Station K-17 began to glow. One by one, massive warships dropped out of hyperspace. Their lights were cold. Their weapons were charged. Inside the workshop, Evan felt the floor vibrate. The galaxy had arrived. The dragon lifted its head slowly. "They will not listen," the dragon said. They never do. Evan kept his eyes on the control screen. Dozens of signals. Military codes. Dragon council markers. Too many. You sound like you've been here before, Evan said. The dragon gave a weak, bitter breath. I was a guardian, it said. I protected borders. Worlds. Even humans. Evan paused. Was, he asked. The dragon's eye darkened. They called me traitor, the dragon replied, for refusing an order. Outside, a loud voice echoed through the station. This is Galactic Authority. All civilians clear the area. Evan shut off the external speakers. Refusing what order? Evan asked. The dragon hesitated, then spoke. They wanted me to burn a human colony. Evan's hands stopped moving. They said humans were expanding too fast, the dragon continued. They said fear was the solution. The dragon's claws tightened. I refused. Evan slowly looked up. So they tried to kill you, Evan said. Yes, the dragon replied. A silence filled the room. Then the station shook violently. A warning flashed. Dock 7 destroyed. Screams echoed through internal channels. They're making an example, Evan muttered. The dragon lowered its head. They want you to step away, it said. If you do, you may live. Evan laughed softly. It surprised even him. I fix broken things, Evan said. Not walk away from them. The dragon studied him. Why, it asked. You gain nothing. Evan thought for a moment. Someone once fixed my ship, Evan said, when no one else would. The dragon was silent. Outside, soldiers breached the station. Heavy boots. Metal doors breaking. Evan's workshop door began to glow red from cutting lasers. We don't have time, Evan said. He activated the emergency lift hidden beneath the floor. A platform rose slowly. What is this? The dragon asked. My last unfinished project, Evan replied. A maintenance tunnel. Off-grid. The dragon shook its head. I cannot fly, it said. You don't need to, Evan answered. The door cracked. Light spilled inside. Last warning, a voice shouted. Step away from the dragon. Evan stood still. The dragon suddenly moved. It lowered its massive head and gently touched Evan's shoulder with its horn. A dragon blessing. Ancient. Rare. Evan felt heat rush through his body. Not pain. Strength. Then listen to me, human, the dragon said. My name is Calthrix. The soldiers froze. Their scanners went wild. A named dragon? Someone whispered. Calthrix raised its voice. I am no monster, it said. I am no weapon. The station trembled. I was betrayed for protecting humans. Calthrix continued. And now, I choose one. Every camera in the station turned. Every screen across nearby systems lit up. Evan realized something terrifying. This was being broadcast. Live. Calthrix lifted its head higher. I choose the mechanic. Shock rippled through the soldiers. Through command ships. Through the galaxy. No dragon has ever chosen a human, a commander said. Evan whispered, we didn't have to do that. Yes, Calthrix replied. I did. The Dragon Council's signal cut in. Cold. Sharp. Calthrix, the voice said. Stand down. Calthrix laughed. A deep, ancient sound. You stripped me of rank, Calthrix said. You burned my wings. The dragon leaned closer to Evan. But you forgot something. The council paused. I still have choice. Calthrix spread its damaged wings. Pain tore through its body. Evan grabbed the control rail. Don't, Evan said. Calthrix ignored him. Any who strike this human, Calthrix declared. Strike me. Weapons powered down across the station. Not from orders. From fear. The Dragon Council went silent. Evan looked up at Calthrix. You just started a war, Evan said. Calthrix lowered its head beside him. No, it said calmly. I started a question. Outside, ships held position. No one fired. No one moved. For the first time in history, the galaxy waited on a human mechanic. The station had to choose. Silence spread through Station K-17. Not peace. Fear. Every screen showed the same image. A wounded dragon. A human mechanic standing in front of it. Evan, the station commander, stared at the screen, sweating. This is impossible, he whispered. Across the station, civilians watched in shock. A dragon had chosen a human. That had never happened before. Never. The Dragon Council signal returned. Its voice was cold and heavy. Station K-17, it said. You are harboring a traitor. The commander swallowed. If you do not surrender the dragon, the voice continued, this station will be erased. Panic exploded. People shouted. Alarm screamed. They'll kill us all, someone yelled. Evan heard it all through the workshop speakers. He closed his eyes for 1 second, then opened them. He turned to Kael'thryx. They'll blame you, Evan said. Kael'thryx shook its head slowly. No, the dragon replied. They will blame you. The workshop door opened halfway. Armed guards stood there. Their weapons were raised, but their hands were shaking. Evan, the commander said carefully, step away from the dragon. Evan did not move. You know me, Evan said. I've fixed your ships for years. That doesn't matter now, the commander replied. Kael'thryx leaned forward. Heat filled the room. The guard stepped back. I will not burn this station, Kael'thryx said loudly. But I will not leave this human. The commander looked between them, then down at his own hands. Do you know what you're asking? He said. You're asking us to die for you. Evan spoke before the dragon could. No, Evan said. I'm asking you to choose. The commander laughed bitterly. Against the Dragon Council? Evan nodded. A long silence followed. Then something unexpected happened. A civilian transport ship powered up. Then another. Then another. All systems repaired, a pilot said over comms. Thanks to Evan. A cargo crew spoke next. He saved my life last cycle. He never charged extra. He never asked who we were. One by one, voices filled the channel. Evan did not speak. He did not need to. The commander's hands lowered. This station runs because of him, the commander said quietly. The Dragon Council interrupted. This is irrelevant. The commander looked up. No, he said. It's everything. He turned to the guards. Stand down. The guards hesitated, then slowly lowered their weapons. Kael'thryx released a deep breath. Outside, warships adjusted position. Weapons powered up. The Dragon Council made its final offer. Last warning, the voice thundered. Surrender the human. Evan felt Kael'thryx tense. They want you now, Evan said. Kael'thryx's eye burned bright. They will not have you. The dragon moved forward. Its wings spread wide. Pain tore through damaged bone. Evan stepped closer. Wait, Evan said. Kael'thryx paused. Evan turned to the station cameras. He stood straight. I am Evan, he said calmly. I am a mechanic. Across the galaxy, people watched. I'm not a soldier, Evan continued. I don't fight wars. Kael'thryx looked at him. But I fix broken things, Evan said. And right now, this galaxy is broken. The Dragon Council remained silent. You call dragons monsters, Evan said. You call humans weak. He raised his hands. But you fear one thing. The voice finally answered. What? Choice, Evan said. A ripple spread through the station. Through the fleet. Kael'thryx lowered its head again. Respect. The Dragon Council's tone changed. Sharp. Dangerous. Station K-17, it said. You have declared rebellion. The commander closed his eyes. Then nodded. So be it. Shields powered up around the station. Civilian ships locked formation. Evan felt the station shake. Kael'thryx spoke softly. They will attack. Evan did not step back. Then we stand, he said. Kael'thryx smiled. A dragon smile. Rare, terrifying, and proud. Outside, the first weapons charged. The galaxy held its breath. The first shot was not fired by a dragon. The Dragon Council fleet moved closer. Massive ships blocked the stars. Their weapons glowed white-hot. Inside Station K-17, shields hummed under pressure. Civilians ran for shelter. No one screamed now. They were past fear. They were waiting. Evan stood beside Kael'thryx on the open platform. The dragon's wings were still damaged. Every breath cost pain. You should leave, Kael'thryx said quietly. They will aim for you first. Evan shook his head. I started this, he replied. I finish it. The station commander's voice came over the channel. Shields at 60%. Too low. The Dragon Council spoke again. Final command, the voice said. Step away from the dragon. Evan did not answer. Kael'thryx lifted its head. The dragon opened its mouth, not to breathe fire, to speak. I protected your borders, Caelfrix said. I burned your enemies. Silence filled space. And when I refused to burn children, Caelfrix continued, you burned me. A ripple passed through the fleet. Some ships hesitated. The Council's flagship did not. A single weapon powered up. Small. Focused. Target locked, a cold voice said. Evan felt it. They were not aiming at the station. They were aiming at him. Caelfrix moved instantly. The dragon stepped in front of Evan. And oh, Evan shouted. The shot fired. A beam of pure force crossed space. Caelfrix roared. The beam tore into its chest. Golden blood exploded into the vacuum. The station shook. People screamed. Evan was thrown to the ground. Smoke filled the platform. For one terrible moment, the dragon did not move. Evan crawled forward. Caelfrix, he whispered. The dragon's eye opened. Still alive. Barely. Evan looked up at the sky. They shot first, he said. His voice was calm. Dead calm. The station commander whispered. Dragon Council, you fired on a civilian. The council answered without regret. The human was the target. Something broke across the station. Across the comm channels. Across the galaxy. Civilian ships moved. Not away. Forward. Weapons online, a pilot said. These are transports, the commander warned. Not anymore, another voice replied. Evan stood slowly. Blood burned across the floor. Dragon blood. He placed his hand against Caelfrix's side. I'm not done fixing you, Evan said. Caelfrix's breathing slowed. The dragon smiled again. You're not weak, it said. Evan turned to the cameras. To the galaxy. They fired on a wounded refugee, Evan said. They fired on me. His eyes were steady. If that is law, Evan continued, then law is broken. A Dragon Council ship suddenly powered down. Then another. Not all, but some. Confusion spread. They're hesitating, the commander said. Caelfrix lifted its head one last time. Listen to him, the dragon said. He speaks truth. The Council's flagship responded with rage. All units, it ordered, erase the station. Power surged across the fleet. Evan felt the heat rise. The station's shield screamed. Caelfrix gathered strength it did not have. The dragon spread its wings. Broken, bleeding, but wide. No, Evan said softly. Caelfrix looked at him. This is what Guardians do, Caelfrix said. The dragon stepped forward. Between the station and the fleet, fire gathered in its chest. Not rage. Resolve. Across the galaxy, billions watched. A wounded dragon protecting humans. A human standing with a dragon. The council fired. Caelfrix roared, and the stars caught fire. Judgment was not meant for dragons. Fire filled space. Not wildfire. Controlled fire. Caelfrix's flames did not spread. They formed a shield. A wall of burning light stood between Station K-17 and the Dragon Council fleet. The council ships fired again. The fire held. Barely. Inside the station, alarms screamed. Shield collapse in 30 seconds, the commander shouted. Evan stood beside the dragon. Heat burned his skin. You can't hold this, Evan said. Caelfrix's voice was weak now. I do not need to hold it long, the dragon replied. Only long enough. For what? Evan asked. Caelfrix did not answer. Instead, the dragon lifted its head and roared. Not in anger. In command. The sound traveled through space. Through old channels. Through ancient codes. Across the galaxy. Far away, something stirred. The Dragon Council flagship paused. What was that signal? An officer asked. The council leader went silent. Then pale. That was a call of witness, the leader said. Impossible, another voice replied. That call was banned. Only a guardian can issue it, the leader whispered. And Caelfrix was a guardian, someone said softly. Across the galaxy, ancient dragon sentinels awakened. Old ones, on distant worlds, on forgotten moons. They turned their eyes toward Station K-17. Back at the station, Evan felt the fire weaken. Caelfrix collapsed to one knee. Evan grabbed the dragon's horn to steady it. Stay with me, Evan said. Caelfrix looked at him. When the witnesses arrive, Caelfrix said, they will judge. Judge who? Evan asked. The dragon smiled faintly. Everyone. Space rippled. Massive shapes appeared. Not warships. Living giants. Ancient dragons, larger than anything humans had ever recorded. The battlefield froze. Dragon Council ships powered down one by one. No orders were given. They simply obeyed. A deep voice echoed across all channels. Who calls for witness? Caelthrix forced itself upright. IDO, Caelthrix answered. The ancient dragon looked down. You stand broken, it said. Yes, Caelthrix replied. But honest. The ancient dragon's gaze shifted. It stopped on Evan. A human, the voice asked. Yes, Caelthrix said. He chose. The ancient dragon turned fully toward Evan. Evan felt pressure crush his lungs. But he did not kneel. He did not run. He stood. What is your claim, human? The ancient voice asked. Evan swallowed. I fixed a neighbor, Evan said. They were bleeding. A pause. Then a laughter. Low. Thunderous. You did not ask what he was, the ancient dragon said. No, Evan replied. I asked if he could survive. The ancient dragons went silent. The Dragon Council leader tried to speak. He is a traitor. You are silent, the ancient dragon snapped. The council's signal cut instantly. Fear spread across the fleet. The ancient dragon returned its gaze to Caelthrix. You refused to burn a human colony, it said. Yes, Caelthrix answered. You broke command, the voice said. Yes. You chose mercy, the voice continued. Yes. The ancient dragon turned to the others. The Guardian did not fail, it declared. The council did. Shock tore through the galaxy. The ancient dragon looked back at Evan. You stood against fire, it said. You stood against law. Evan's voice was quiet. I stood because it was right. A long pause followed. Then the ancient dragon spoke words that rewrote history. Then humanity will no longer stand below. The fleet trembled. The council ships lost command authority. Weapons shut down. Ranks dissolved. The ancient dragons lowered their heads. To Evan. To humanity. Caelthrix exhaled slowly. It is done, the dragon whispered. Evan held on to him. You're not dying, Evan said. Caelthrix smiled. No, it replied. We are beginning. Across the galaxy, a new truth spread. Humans were not weak. They were chosen. And judgment had passed. The ones who fix what others break. The galaxy did not cheer. It went quiet. Across thousands of systems, screens showed the same image. Ancient dragons hovering in space. A wounded guardian, and a human mechanic standing beside him. Evan, the Dragon Council was gone. Its authority stripped. Its commands erased. But power never disappears quietly. Fragments of the Council fleet remained. And some captains were afraid. Fear makes people dangerous. A single destroyer broke formation. Its weapons charged. The ancient dragons noticed instantly. Stand down, one commanded. The destroyer ignored them. Evan saw the targeting alert. They're still aiming, he said. Caelthrix tried to rise. Pain locked his body. Evan placed a hand on the dragon's neck. I've got this, Evan said. Caelthrix looked at him. You are unarmed, the dragon said. Evan nodded. I've always been. Evan stepped forward into the open. No armor. No shield. No weapon. Every sensor locked onto him. Human, the destroyer captain sneered over comms. Move aside. Evan looked straight into the camera. No, he said. The destroyer fired. The beam crossed space. The ancient dragons moved. Too late. The beam struck Evan and stopped. It did not burn. It did not explode. It froze, wrapped around Evan's body like light caught in glass. The galaxy watched in shock. What is that? Someone whispered. Caelthrix's eye widened. A bond, the dragon said. Evan felt heat, but also strength. Not his own. Caelthrix struggled. No, the dragon growled. You are not taking this alone. Golden light flowed from Caelthrix into Evan. The beam shattered. The destroyer's weapons went dead. Its engines failed. It drifted helplessly. Evan stood unharmed, breathing, alive. Silence crushed space. The ancient dragons lowered themselves. One spoke softly. This human did not command power, it said. He accepted responsibility. Evan turned to Caelthrix. You trusted me, Evan said. Yes, Caelthrix replied. And that trust changed everything. Across the galaxy, systems updated. New laws, new symbols, a new classification appeared. Humanity protected allies, not servants, not weapons, allies. The ancient dragon spoke again. Humans do not rule by fear, they declared. They rule by repair. Evan laughed quietly. I just fix things, he said. Caelthrix finally stood tall. His wings healed faster now. Not fully, but enough. He bowed his head to Evan, not as guardian to civilian, but as equal. Stations across the galaxy sent messages. For help, for repair, for humans. Not because they were strong, but because they stayed. When others ran, when others burned, the ancient dragons began to depart. Before leaving, one turned back. Human Evan, it said, when the galaxy breaks again, will you answer? Evan looked at the stars, at the damage, at the work ahead. He smiled. Someone has to, he said. Caelthrix spread his wings. Together, dragon and human moved forward, not as legend, but as proof that the smallest hands can fix the largest universe.